Hi everyone, Father Lamb here. Today is Wednesday, February 23rd, and I'd just like to mention to you, if you'd like to go on the internet to cookswithcollars.com, you can click on Queen Ship of Mary Church and we'll teach you how to make kiffles. We had a lot of fun doing it. I'm very thankful to our kiffle ladies who helped and also to the Sisters of Christian Charity. So thanks for your support. Get on there, vote early and vote often. And today we're continuing with the Our Father, and today we're dealing with that phrase, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. It's kind of a curious line, lead us not into temptation. Does God lead us into temptation? Well, of course not. And over the centuries, many people have tried to change this little line, or tried to go back to some original Greek writing and try to say, well, this isn't what we meant. There's no need for that. Really, what's happening here, lead us not into temptation. To really get a sense of what that means is, first of all, we have to realize that we're being called to live a deeply spiritual life, okay? And anyone, and this is especially true of the great mystics, St. Teresa of Avila would be one who would advocate this. Anyone who's really striving to live a deeply Christian life would never desire to be free of trials and struggles. Now, most of us aren't there. On a daily basis, I'm saying, God, get that away from me. Or if we have the strength of a day to say, Lord, help me to pick up my cross today, we also kind of want to say to him, but don't make it too hard, you see? But this is what the great saints teach us, that once you start to grow so close to Christ, you realize that that cross that you're struggling with is the very means that brings you even closer to Christ. I mean, that's the incredible mystery. And that's why people like St. John of the Cross would say, love suffering. Whereas you hear that line, you go, love, suffering, you gotta be kidding me, this is crazy. But it's not. It's not if you're walking deeply with Jesus Christ. Because there's a part of Jesus we will only know in suffering, because he put up with that greatest sacrifice ever of his own suffering and his own death on the cross. So St. Teresa of Avila would say, a person growing closer to Christ would not ask to be free of struggles. And the image that she uses is that of soldiers. Their soldiers are all about the battle. They're going to want to get out there and fight for whomever they're fighting for, their country, their cause. They're not going to ask to shrink from that and say, I want to be on the sidelines, see? And in the same way as Christians, we're called to be soldiers. And if you think about that, that's really what we do at confirmation, right? We're soldiers for Jesus Christ. This is a battle, And you see that in Paul, or the letter to Peter, 1 Peter, where he says, stay sober and alert. Your opponent, the devil, is prowling like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Resist him, solid in your faith. So there we are, we're in this battle, and Padre Pio would say there's a battle going on between heaven and hell, and the battleground is the human soul. There are souls at stake. This is a battle. And to realize that is very important. We need to know that the enemy is the devil. The enemy, as St. Paul says, are powers and principalities beyond this world. It's not like the secular world is the battle. It becomes the battleground because underneath that, the devil's working, see? So your enemy isn't, conservatives or liberals or Republicans or Democrats or Joe Biden, whoever it is. Your enemy is the devil himself. And so we need to get ourselves ready for this battle. Now, St. Teresa would be very clear to say that we have nothing to be afraid of in battling the devil, because Jesus Christ has total power over the devil. So when we're fighting these things, we need to adhere ourselves to Christ more than ever. Never try to fight the devil on your own. That's craziness. Always bring Jesus Christ in, who has conquered the devil, and Mary, our mother. So what we begin to see as we walk this road is that what St. Teresa of Avila is saying when we say, lead us not into temptation, her take on this is very interesting. She says that the devil himself can sometimes disguise himself as an angel of light, the devil himself. So she's saying, be careful. Be careful that when you think, oh, this is coming from God, maybe not. Maybe it's coming from the devil, but he's disguising himself as an angel of light. So her take on this line, lead us not into temptation, is to ask God to give us the grace we need to discern between angels of light and angels of darkness. Lord, help me to see that this is really the right way for me to go. I think maybe a simple example of this would be young kids, a teenager, having bad companions. And parents and grandparents of the child will say, be careful with these bad companions. And what is the adult worried about? That you're going to get in with bad companions and do things wrong that you wouldn't normally do wrong because it's a bad influence. That's the same kind of thing here. When you and I adhere to an angel of light that's really the devil in disguise, we end up going down the wrong road. And sometimes that angel of light can, for example, St. Teresa says, can convince us that we're very humble and we're not. Convince us that I'm very detached from things, when really we're not. And she says the antidote to this is to always remain humble. Always remain humble. And that's why you see, when the saints get closer and closer to God, they more and more see their sinfulness and their failings. That's why you can read about St. Teresa of Avila, St. John of the Cross, and they're quick to say, I'm a wretched sinner. Look how terrible I am. And when you read that, you think, they're not terrible, they're saints. Well, they're saints because they doubt themselves and they continue to yield themselves to the Lord Jesus Christ. So when you're not sure about an angel being of light or darkness, she says, become humble and abandon yourself to God even more deeply. This is very important to us because I also think it gives us hope. And here's the hope that it gives you. Do you ever find yourself praying and praying and praying and feeling like you're getting worse? You're doing all your prayers and you're praying to God and you think, I don't seem to be getting any better. I seem to be getting worse. Truth is, you really may be growing. But the closer and closer we come to the light, the more and more we are aware of our sinfulness. You take a glass, a window pane, and you look at it, and the light's not too bright. Oh, it looks pretty clean. But you get that bright sunlight coming and the afternoon sun come through there, you'll see all the smudges on it. The same thing is true in our soul. So if you find yourself praying and falling short, that can actually be a good sign. Keep praying and keep abandoning yourself to God. So when you and I pray, lead us not into temptation, let's ask the Lord to help us to really see angels of light from angels of darkness, to continue to walk the road of humility. And being humble is really being down to earth. Being humble is relying on God. Being humble sometimes is doubting ourselves so that Jesus can come in our lives in a deeper way. This week, let's ask God to truly keep us humble. God bless you.